All right, let's just jump right in because the way we find things online is going through the biggest revolution in, well, decades. If you're running a business, if you're a creator, if you're anyone trying to get noticed online, you need to know. The old playbook, it's done. We are officially in the age of AI search, and the rules of the game are being completely rewritten as we speak.
Now get a load of this number. 60%. Nearly 2/3 of all searches on Google now end right there, with no click. 0. People get their answer directly on the results page and they're gone. For years, the entire game was about getting people to click on your link, and that game is now broken. And that leads to the million-dollar question for every single one of us. If customers aren't clicking anymore, how do you even know your business is being found? How do you win? This is a massive shift, and it means we have to fundamentally rethink what it even means to be visible online.
So, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at how search is changing so fast. Then we'll cover the new rules of visibility. After that, we'll build a brand new playbook for optimization, get into the nitty-gritty tactics, and finally, we'll see why this all comes down to one thing: brand authority. Okay, so let's start with the big one. For pretty much 20 years, search has meant one thing: a list of 10 blue links. You type something in, Google gives you a list of websites, and you go exploring. Well, you can say goodbye to that era. It's over. Welcome to the world of AI search. We're talking about tools like Google's AI overviews. We're talking about ChatGPT, Perplexity. These are the new front doors to the internet. And here's the key. They don't just point you to information anymore. They consume it, they synthesize it, and then they present their own answer. They've become the gatekeepers. So here's what that looks like in the real world. Traditional search gives you a reading list and basically says, good luck, hope you find it. But AI search, it does all the reading for you and just gives you the summary. And this leads to the most important mindset shift you need to make. You are no longer trying to get on the list. You have to become part of the answer itself. This one idea just changes everything. The old battle was about fighting to get from rank 3 to rank 1. The new game is about being so good, so essential, that the AI simply has to include your information, your data, your brand in its final answer. It's not about competition anymore. It's about being indispensable. So, if inclusion is the new goal, how do you get invited to the party? Well, that all comes down to the new rules of visibility, and it starts with really understanding these new AI gatekeepers. And here's the biggest rule change of all. You are no longer creating content just for people. Your new audience is also the machine. You're creating it for AI crawlers and large language models that have to understand your content, they have to trust it, and they have to find it useful enough to serve up to a real person. If a machine can't make sense of what you're saying, you're basically invisible. To navigate all this, you need a completely new playbook. I mean, traditional SEO is still important, it's the foundation, but it's just the first chapter now. We need a unified strategy that's actually built for this AI-first world. So this new playbook, it's built in 3 layers, and each one builds on the last. We start with the foundation we all know and love, SEO. Then we add a new layer on top called AEO, which is Answer Engine Optimization. And we top it all off with the most future-facing part, GEO, Generative Engine Optimization. Let's see how they work together. First up, SEO, Search Engine Optimization. Look, this is the technical bedrock, the nuts and bolts. Having a fast site, one that works on mobile, a clean structure. Think of it like this. If the AI crawler can't even get in your front door and look around easily, then nothing else we're about to talk about even matters. Okay, next, we build on that with AEO, Answer Engine Optimization. This is where we stop thinking about just being a source of information and start thinking about being the answer. It's all about structuring your content so clearly that it can be lifted directly into a featured snippet or even spoken aloud by Siri or Alexa. You're basically formatting your knowledge for immediate consumption. And finally, at the very top of the pyramid is GEO, Generative Engine Optimization. This is the end game, folks. It's about becoming so authoritative, so trusted, that when a generative AI like ChatGPT needs to build an answer, it actually cites you. At this level, you're not just answering questions anymore. You're becoming a primary source of truth for the AI itself. Okay, so that's the playbook. Theory is great, but what do you actually do? Let's get into the actionable tactics you can start using right now to win in AI search. So here are 5 essential moves. You got to start optimizing for how people actually talk. Full questions, long sentences.
You need to implement structured data, which is kind of like a secret language that helps machines understand your content. Super important, you have to build your authority on platforms that aren't your website. You also need to establish what Google calls EEAT. We'll get to that. And finally, you have to create unique stuff that an AI can't just create on its own.
So, where is Google's AI actually getting its information from? You might think it's all big-name publications, but the data shows something really surprising. The domains cited most often are community platforms like Quora and Reddit. What does that tell us? It tells us the AI values authentic human conversation. It is not enough to just publish on your own blog. You have to be part of the discussion where it's actually happening. And this leads us to that super important concept I mentioned, EEAT. It stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. You can think of it as the AI's credibility checklist. It's basically asking, have you actually done this thing you're talking about? Are you a real expert? Are you respected? Can I trust you? Nailing this isn't just a tactic. It's how you prove you are a reliable source worth listening to.
So, why go through all this trouble? Why do all this work? Because the payoff is absolutely huge. All of these different strategies, they all point to one single ultimate goal: building unshakable brand authority for the age of AI. And here is that payoff. Even though the total number of clicks might be going down, the data shows that visitors who come to your site from an AI search are incredibly valuable. In fact, they are 4.4 times more likely to convert. And why is that? Because the AI has already done the hard work of qualifying them for you. They arrive on your site with a clear idea of what they want.
So, you see, while we've been talking a lot about optimizing for machines and algorithms, that's not actually the end goal. That's just the how. The real goal, the thing that will last, is to build a brand that is so strong, so consistent, and so trustworthy that both people and AI systems recognize it as the definitive source. In a world that's about to be flooded with AI-generated content, a trusted human brand becomes the single most valuable asset you can possibly have. And so that leaves us with one last powerful question to think about. In this new world, when a user or an AI asks a question that matters in your industry, is your brand the answer? Because in the age of AI search, that is the only question that truly matters.